Hello, welcome back to Blender CC LiveENODING. In this episode, I want to share some kind of node setup in geometry nodes that can create this type of effects. It's actually pretty simple. I think it's just a combination of a couple of ideas, and you can see it's just basically like a ink, kind of like a graffiti style, or like icing on a cake. It's a The result is kind of just like ink with the outline around it. So this was possible because I have two materials driving, uh, rendering this graffiti tag. So let me try to explain the basic. Okay, the rainbow ink one seems elaborate, right? We have control over the rainbow itself. We can multiply the number of rainbow, and I think we've done this in the past not long ago. And there's this geometry nodes. Seems complicated, but let me go to the very basic idea first. Okay, this is the original Blender geometry node setup. It's basically just curve nodes with two materials. One material is for the inside of the graffiti tag, and then the other material is for the outline of the graffiti tag. So this is becoming like an object that you can duplicate, delete everything, and just draw like any graffiti tag, right? Pretty simple, basic. And what's the geometry nodes itself looks like. So here I'm using, so the curve goes into geometry nodes, and curve I translate it into points. We can control the points using count as usual, or just use length. Okay, and I use point to volume and volume to mesh. So I already turned the curve into volume and just mesh it, and that part seems pretty simple. And I have control over the radius, of course, the radius for the inside and the radius for the outside, and the combination of the two creates this kind of nice inside and outside, like a cake icing. And then I simply flatten the mesh. So this should work, I think, fairly nicely from the top view. If you start painting like in a freeform style in 3D space, this this flattening of the bubble will not work so well, but for now this is okay. Okay, so this is basic, and I just set the material, green material or purple, just any color for the inside and the outside. So this kind of like a basic graffiti. This should work. You can draw your tag, or yeah, just anything, just like graffiti with arrow. So what's the next thing I did? Let's jump into the latest version. Okay, this guy seems much more elaborate, right? We have like a rainbow rainbow energy transferring into the mesh. So it's not points, it's the mesh. But if you, so I'm currently rendering using cycles. If you look at the geometry nodes, the bottom part is exactly what I showed you earlier, the basic one. The top part have something, like the setup might be familiar to you if you've been watching my video in the I think a couple of video earlier. So let me just show you. Okay, so this is just points with rainbowy color. You can play around with the rainbow. You can kind of offset the rainbow, right? So what's this top part? So basically the top part is also the same. Curve geometry goes into sample curve. So sample curve is really useful. It turns a curve, and you can sample You can sample the position, the color, all kind of things that's dealing with the curve itself, maybe from from grease pencil in the near future. But anyhow, we can control the points that's running through our curve, right? So that should be familiar. We can sample it using the vector or the length of the curve. But for now, let's keep it simple. Okay, we just want the points by sampling the curve, and we control the curve using this number, how many sampling we want for the curve. And then we have this map range to get the value between 0 and 1, and the value between 0 and 1 is the one that's transferring into the material itself. So we can recolorize it with rainbow color. All right, so yeah, originally this is just a bunch of points like that. We can control the point size, of course, and we render it using cycles. So points will be rendered as sphere, which is nice. So with the material itself, it's just colorizing it using this attribute called blah. So this, we store a name attribute called blah and then transfer it into the material. So inside the material, we can offset the value, we can multiply the value, and then using fraction, it's gonna loop itself because we multiply the value, and then it's gonna turn it into fractions, and then use the color ramp, or any color will do, whether you want to have like rainbowy color or any kind of gradient. So yeah, something like that, and then it goes into the material. So that's fine and dandy. So how do we transfer the color into our final geometry? The final geometry is, of course, this one over here, right? This final geometry is the mesh. It's no longer points. So we transfer it using this sample nearest and sample index. It's a simple node. This used to be called transfer attributes or transfer color. You can transfer anything, but this one will just, okay, you have two geometry. This is your final geometry, right? The final geometry, you want to sample the nearest point of that geometry, the points geometry from above. Sample that points and then transfer this color attribute from that index. I think this should explain these two nodes together. It's really important concept. So from the original points, we transfer it into our mesh based on the nearest, and that's pretty much what it is. It's pretty simple after all. So we have clockwise, or yeah, we have color that's like a rainbow, and we can now offset the color because we have turned the value, like 0 to 1 value across our curve into this attribute called blah, and then we just reuse it inside material. So we can just offset it or multiply it, and we can use fractions, or we can use other things like wrap or ping pong. It's just a value between 0 and 1, so you're gonna get different result based on this. And you can have like a rainbow colored, some kind of worms. So if you want, you can write anything. So with my kanji study, okay, now it's broken, now it's become this rainbow balls. But anyhow, if you want to do the painting stuff, don't do it while rendering using cycles. Sometimes it's just gonna work, but maybe switch to EV, and then with EVs you can still see the color. Duplicate this, delete everything. What's the new word I learned? Oh well, just this. I like this one. It's what is this, noise? Oh, I just made up my own kanji. So this is like a noise, and or it's an, what is this, nice feeling? It's unrelated, but I love this kanji because it's kind of interesting looking. Aha. Music comfort is, so it's comfortable. If you combine this with another kanji, it's become music. So comfortable music, comfortable noise, so it's become music. So this is noise, I don't know. So duplicate this, delete everything, memorize. So I have like, I think the kanji, of course, help you memorize things, sort of memorize strokes. I missed it. Anyhow, kanji is a bit crazy. It's all about memorizing, but also to understand it, to understand visually, and then recreate it inside your brain. So anyhow, so that's the whole process to create this kind of nice. It's no longer neon because it's not points, but I like this ability to just to have that, have a value, and then put a frame here, plug this there, put a math there, and then multiply with the number, and you have animations. Yeah, it's a little bit fast. Yeah, but it's nice. Increase the strength, render it. Well, okay. This is EV. We can have bloom. Increase the strength. Yeah. All right. This is a bit too much, but that's okay. It's like a neon. Okay, so that's basically what I want to show you. It's pretty simple. I just want to show you how you can transfer the color from points and how the whole thing set up. So from curve, and then you get this kind of nice rainbowy ink, like neon artwork. All right, so it's glowing and stuff. It's too much, I know, but oh yeah, also play around with the radius. That's important. Play with the radius, and then you can randomize the ink, or just keep the ink original initial ink the same radius, and curve the points length, control the length. There we go. Speed. Maybe it goes up here and then resample it. So less, if I increase this value, we have more points, and the color will transfer anyway to this guy. Base color and strength. Increase the glow. Okay. There you go. Hopefully you find this useful. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.